Hello, and this is Cooking with Dee and Family in the Background. Today, we'll be making homemade red-skinned mashed potatoes with garlic and cheese. We'll be making homemade meatballs with golden mushroom gravy, and we'll be making sauteed green beans. So first, I'm going to show you what ingredients you're going to need. First, you're going to need a 5-pound bag of red-skinned mashed potatoes. You want to make sure you wash them, and you want to make sure you cut off the little buds that they can tend to have in them. So I already have those boiling over here. As you can see, the red-skinned mashed potatoes are boiling right here, and they've been boiling since probably about 3:30. They've been boiling, and they're almost done. You want to boil them until they're good and soft. So the other ingredients that you're going to need on today are you're going to need some white mushrooms, and I've already cut those white mushrooms up and I've washed them, and I have about 2 cups of white mushrooms. I also have 2 pounds of ground beef, and in that ground beef I've put Montreal steak seasoning, kosher salt, or you can use regular salt, a little garlic salt. I've put chopped onion flakes. You can use real onions if you want, but I like to use the chopped onion. Britain, I'm actually recording. So you are also going to put chopped onions in, and just a little seasonal, and you're going to put a 1/2 cup of Italian breadcrumbs, and that's what's going to go in your ground beef, which I already done all of that. Next, you're going to need 3 cups of beef broth. You're also going to need 2 cans of golden mushroom condensed soup, Campbell's soup. And so that's 2 cans. If I said cups, I'm sorry, but that's 2 cans. You're going to need 1 heaping tablespoon of flour and add your water in it so to help thicken your gravy. You're going to need sharp cheddar cheese, mild cheddar cheese, and you're going to need some minced garlic. So now we already have our meatball mixture ready. We have the 2 eggs in here, and so anytime you're making ground beef with meatballs, for every pound of ground beef you want 1 egg. So we have 2 pounds of ground beef, so we have 2 eggs in here, and I put all my seasonings, and I put a 1/2 cup of Italian breadcrumbs. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to form our meatballs. Well, we formed our meatballs, and we formed them into nice size meatballs, so you can form them into whatever size you want to, but we formed our meatballs. Mine are kind of medium, so they're a nice size. So we formed our meatballs, and we're going to put our meatballs in our oven on 350, and we're going to let them cook. While we're waiting for our meatballs to finish cooking, and while we're waiting for our mashed potatoes to finish boiling and getting soft, we're going to go ahead and start on our sauteed green beans. So I have a family size of picked sweet whole green beans, and I put about 2 tablespoons of margarine into the pan. And so now I'm going to pour the green beans into the pan. I've poured them into our pan, and I've added about 1/4 cup of water. I've added some garlic salt, and I've added a little pepper. And now I'm going to cover our green beans with a lid, and I'm going to let them cook. So they've started to cook, and it's only been about 3 minutes. And so you only want to cook these no more than about 10 minutes. So it's only been about 3 minutes. So we're going to come back, and we're going to let them continue to cook. We're going to cover them back up, and we're going to let them continue to cook. You don't want them to get dark green. You still want them to be a bright green color. So we're going to let them cook just a couple more minutes. Our green beans have cooked for about 7 minutes. And so now what we're going to do, see how those look nice and bright green? We're just going to add them into our bowl. Those look nice and crunchy. And so we've cooked our green beans. Again, we've used 2 tablespoons of margarine, 1/4 cup of water, and we've added whatever seasonings that we wanted to add, which I added a little pepper and a little garlic salt, and we let them cook for about 7 minutes. So now we're going to move on to our mashed potatoes. Our red-skinned mashed potatoes have finished boiling, and they're ready to be mashed. And what I usually do is I have a mashed potato masher, and I just use this and kind of mash down just a little bit, and mash down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my milk in, and once I put my milk in, it'll really start to come together. So when we come back, they're going to be mashed a little bit, and we're going to add our milk. We've mashed our mashed potatoes, our red-skin mashed potatoes, and I've now added 1 stick of margarine. We've now added 1 cup of whole milk. We've added 1 cup of whole milk, and as you can see, our mashed potatoes are really coming together. Those are going to be nice and creamy, and you can add more milk if you want to. It's depending on the consistency that you want. So I'm going to add a 1/2 cup more of milk. So far we've done a stick of margarine, and we're going to do 1.5 cups of milk. Oh, those whipped mashed potatoes are looking great. We've also added a tablespoon of minced garlic, and we've sprinkled a little bit of garlic salt and pepper to our mashed potatoes. I've now added a 1/2 cup of cheddar sharp cheese and a 1/2 cup of mild cheddar cheese. So our mashed potatoes are done. Ooh, those look so good. So again, we've boiled a 5-pound bag of red-skin mashed potatoes. After they boiled, we started to mash them, and we put a stick of margarine, a tablespoon of garlic, minced garlic, a little bit of garlic salt, a little bit of pepper. We've put 1.5 cups of milk, and we've put a 1/2 cup of cheddar cheese and a 1/2 cup of cheddar sharp cheese. So our mashed potatoes are done. Next up is our meatballs. Our meatballs are now done. They're out of the oven. And so I would say I cooked them for probably about 45 minutes. You just cook them until they're done, until the hamburger meat is done. So now we're going to begin to make our gravy. First, we want to make sure that we turn our oven on, and we want to turn our oven on about medium high. So once we turn our oven on, we're going to now add our 3 cups of beef broth. And what we're going to do is we're going to let that warm up, and we're going to let it start to boil before we do anything else.